Hello, and what is happening? What is happening? Let me tell you what happened. Last night, I finally saw the Chris Stuckman movie, Shelby Oaks, and today I will be reviewing it. First, let me start by saying that I have been following Chris Stuckman since his earlier days on YouTube. For those who doesn't know who he is, Chris Stuckman is a YouTuber screenwriter now turned director, and this is his directorial debut. He has been working on this project for a long time, and I know that Chris loves horror movies, and I am happy that he finally made this film. I don't always agree with his reviews, but I think he's one of the best movies reviewers on YouTube, even if he doesn't do movies reviews anymore. He stopped doing reviews after he started making his film, and I get it, he has to be more careful. He doesn't want to anger any future partnerships with a major production company, so I get it. Now, with that said, Shelby Oaks tells the story of a woman called Mia who is searching for her long lost sister, Riley, who has been missing for 12 years. Riley had a YouTube channel for a group called the Paranormal Paranoids. Mia, in her search for her long lost sister, she will realize that a demon from their childhood may have been real. The first 15 or 20 minutes of this film are presented in a form of a found footage documentary. I am not a big fan of found footage films because I find them annoying, with similar plots, similar style, with shaky cameras, with poor resolution. Only a few found footage films have been commercially successful, and I have to admit that in this case it worked because those first 15 or 20 minutes of found footage were used to give us some background on the story. This is what happened, and now that you have an idea of what might have happened to Riley, let's move on to a more conventional horror movie. I am not saying that Chris reinvented the found footage genre or that it hasn't been done before. What I'm saying is that it worked as an introduction to the story, and I like that. Now, when the film goes from being a found footage documentary to a more conventional film, I was impressed by how good the cinematography is in this film. It's a very low budget film with a very limited release. According to Google, it only cost between 1.4 million and 2.8 million dollars after Neon acquired the rights to the film. The film doesn't look or feel like a low budget film. It feels like it was made with a budget of between 10 and 20 million dollars. The cinematography is incredible for a low budget film. The sound effects are good and the visual effects are also decent, taking in consideration the limited budget for this film. Now, the acting was excellent. Camille Sullivan carried the whole weight of the film, and thanks to her, the film was more enjoyable. The story was a little predictable with some good and with some predictable jump scares and with some terrible decisions made by the main character. Many of those bad decisions didn't make any sense. Spoiler alert, when she finally finds someone, a cop, who is willing to help her, but instead she decides to do all of the investigation and go to creepy places on her own at night. Why was it so important to investigate in the middle of the night? Couldn't she wait until the next morning? Yes, investigating at nighttime is creepy, but still, why do it at night? No logic nor an explanation was given to why she did it so late in the middle of the night. Also, Mia is married and she never asked or told her husband not once where she was going or that she was going to remote places in the middle of the night. I understand that the two didn't have a perfect marriage because they are going through some issues, but they are still married. And the question is, why have interesting characters like the cop who show interest on helping her, or why give her a husband if you are not going to use them? Also, I have problems with how long she left the blood on her face after something traumatic happened to her earlier that day. I understand that she was traumatized, but it went from day to night and she still had the same blood on her face, as if the police or someone hadn't said to her, hey, let's clean up your face, is unsanitary. I know that some reshoots were done after Neon acquired the rights to the film to add more suspense and gore, so I guess leaving the blood on her face was done intentionally to create a more dramatic moment, rather than using rationality. And that's where the film's story suffers. I think Chris wanted to play safe with his first film, as he clearly used elements from other horror films that he loves. Chris robbed the script but I think the film would have benefited from having another co-writer who could have helped with the story. The dialogues were decent for the most part, and as the film continues, it becomes clear that the script is the weakest part of the film. The story is not the problem, but rather the script. Luckily, having a good cast with excellent performances helped prevent the movie from feeling flat. All of the actors did an excellent job, and they carried the weight of the movie, especially Camille Sullivan. And what can I say about the ending for this movie? It did not work for me. I don't think Chris knew how to end the story in this film. He had an idea and maybe it had worked on paper, but in reality, it didn't. And that's why I said the film could have benefited from having another co writer. In the end, what helped the film the most was the excellent performances by the actors, especially by Camille Sullivan, who is the best thing about the film. The story, not the writing, was intriguing. The cinematography was excellent and it also helped the movie. The visual effects and the CGI were decent. It's a low budget film, so I won't be too harsh on the visual effects. The film also has some good jump scares. But the bad decisions made by the main character and the incoherent plots is what hurts this movie the most, because that's how the script was written. And without a doubt, Chris is a huge horror fan, as he was clearly inspired by many films such as The Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, Hereditary, Rosemary's Baby, The Ring, and other horror classics. But I don't think Chris knew what he wanted this movie to be, whether it was a mockumentary, a found footage, a ghost movie, or a horror movie about demonic cults. It's a movie to watch once, and that's why I will give Shelby Oaks 3 stars out of 5 stars. Because in the end, Shelby Oaks isn't a perfect movie because it has some problems here and there. But if we can overlook some of those problems, then the movie is entertaining, at least until the end. And considering that it is Chris Stuckman's first movie and he had a limited budget, I think he did well. So, good for you, buddy. Good for you. I'm interested to see what Chris does next as a director with a bigger budget. As a screenwriter, we will see. But for now, that's it for this review of the movie Shelby Oaks. Have you seen it? And if you so, what do you think of it? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Unless you get stuck in his eyes. See ya.